Of course, you've just heard the reading from when Jesus entered Jerusalem all the way to Friday when he was killed. And every time you hear it read out loud, it's surprising how much power the story has. When Jesus first came in to Jerusalem, he makes a big point out of saying, go get the little donkey, and I'll ride in on the little donkey. Or some translations, the colt, the small horse. And then, as we reenacted coming into church, people were very excited to see him come in. And they gave him an entrance, a grand entrance through the gate of Jerusalem, one of the gates. And as he comes in, they're shouting, "Blessed is the coming kingdom of our God and of David. Blessed is the one who comes in God's name." But Jesus rides in on the little donkey, and he doesn't ride in on the big white horse as if he was really conquering or challenging. It's meant to be very provoking to Pontius Pilate and to Caesar and to the whole Roman cohort that's occupying the city. It's a direct challenge to them. And he's saying Caesar is not the rightful emperor. God should be the king. And I come as his emissary. It's as if he's intentionally enacting, like poking Pilate in the eye, says, "You don't belong here. Caesar is not the Caesar." Which sounds kind of lightweight in a sense, but hear it again. He's saying, essentially, sedition and treason. And at this festival time, when all the Jews who are able to come to Jerusalem are coming there to celebrate the Passover. This was the time in Israel's history when they got free out of Egypt. And God won the battle for them. They crossed the Red Sea. And they got out of bondage from another Pharaoh, from another ruler. It's like a national holiday. It's like the 4th of July for them. So they're celebrating this national event. And Jesus rides in and says, "Caesar, just like we kicked out the Pharaoh, we're going to kick you out." But he doesn't do it in a violent way. He doesn't. He comes in on the little horse, the little foal. So you know from that point on, Jesus is truly a marked man when it comes to Pontius Pilate and the Romans. He's stirring up a revolution in the middle of a tinderbox full of people from all over the area coming to Jerusalem to celebrate the last time they got delivered. Now he's saying it could happen again. So you can see why he provoked the Romans. And his whole ministry, he's been provoking the Jewish leaders. So he goes on trial before the high priests and the chief priests, the authorities in the Jewish temple. And they accuse him of a lot of things. And they finally just ask him, "Are you calling yourself the Son of God?" He says, "That's right." And they say, "Well, we don't need any more witnesses. We've heard the blasphemy. Now we just need to execute him." An amazing thing, though, in the midst of all this confrontation between the high priests and Jesus, and Pilate and Jesus, never once do you see Jesus say, "You all are evil, and you must be destroyed." He doesn't make his enemies into pure darkness. He does not even confront them violently, but he simply stands up to them and says, "You don't belong here. And you wouldn't know blasphemy if it kissed you on the lips." He never makes them an enemy that he calls evil, even though he's about to get killed. In fact, in one of the Gospels it says, while he was hanging on the cross, it says, "Father, forgive them. They don't even really know what they're doing." But he never calls them evil. I bring that up because throughout our history and throughout time, whenever we call another person or a group of people evil, when we make them incarnate devil, a lot of bad things happen. And humans, as soon as they cross that line, they do inhumane things. You can see it in the news today, and I won't belabor this point, but the radical Islamists who are the jihadists, whether it's Al-Qaeda or Taliban or ISIS, they can all say out loud, those infidels and non-believers, they are evil. Therefore, we are justified in doing anything to them and anything to eradicate them. Anyone who does not believe as they do, they're evil. Therefore, you can do anything to them, and you should. Whenever we see the other person or the other country or the other group as evil, we unleash hell. Not heaven on earth, we just bring hell. Of course, it happened many times throughout history, not just today. I just got through watching a rerun or a replaying of the Anne Frank story, the Diary of Anne Frank. It's a long story of a teenager during World War II, Jewish young lady who's kept hiding in sort of an apartment while the Nazis are ruling over Amsterdam. And just before they go into hiding, before their friends start supplying them with food, the Jewish people are accused of many things. And they're considered so bad that they're not allowed to go to the theater. And then they're not allowed to go to the movies. And then they're not allowed to go to the parks. And their world gets smaller and smaller because they are so bad and wicked. And finally, they just become pure evil. And so the Nazis said, well, there's one thing you do with pure evil. You have the final solution. Whenever we say about the other group that we don't like, or even our enemies, that they are subhuman, they are evil, therefore we can do anything we want. But Jesus never goes that route at all. Even to the people who were attacking him and even killing him, he never goes to the evil card. A couple days ago, actually a couple nights ago, I was listening to the radio trying to find a Spurs game. I had forgotten the schedule. I was going through all my AM stations trying to find out what the score was. And I came across one station, not the Spurs game. And the speaker was saying, well, you know, Hillary Clinton is bad. And we don't want her. And Bill Clinton was awful. But the person in office today, he's not like us. He does not share our values as Americans. In fact, he's just evil. And I knew right then that the speaker had crossed a line he should never cross. Whenever we make the other side into a demon, into the devil, into pure evil, we will guarantee that we unleash hell, not heaven. And we will do inhumane things in the name of God and of humanity. But Jesus never does that. He remains humble at the same time that he's being confrontational. He remains peaceful even while he's under attack. He remains patient even when he's being oppressed. And in the middle of all that, he never says, those Romans are evil. Those Jews are evil. In the end, he just says, forgive them, they don't know what they are doing. I think we really should follow his example. Be like Jesus. But whenever we play the evil card, we declare those other people as from the devil, that's when bad things happen. Let us be like the Christ, humble in the midst of confrontation. And let's not ever play the card that says the other people, just evil. When we do, bad things will happen.